Hi guys, welcome back to Casually Crafted. My name is Ashley and this is Crafty Chat number 68 part 2, we're going to call it. I recorded another Crafty Chat the other day and I haven't quite gotten to editing it because I was trying to finish off the leapfrog stuff first. So even though they're separate videos, one is kind of works in progress and then this one will be pretty much everything else. So they kind of go together, just they were going to be too long if I all put it in one. So I'm just going to start off with finished objects. I mean, I do have like one whip to show you, but that's okay. The first one is, so I like to make for my daughters, or not necessarily make something, but like I give them a Valentine's gift every year. Valentine's Day for me is more to like show love to my kids. Like my husband and I don't care too much about it. So this year I made these little guys, and this is a pattern I found on Instagram. I think it was by Mom Stitchetti or something like that. I don't know how you say it, but as of right now, it's been a few weeks since I gifted these, and this is the only one I know where it is. So anyway, I'll post the link to the free pattern on Instagram, and I made these before Joe made her leggy heart pattern, so I didn't make hers, but I don't know. I use Premier Parfait Chunky, and I had like 3 different colors of pink that I wanted to use. I made this one, I started this one first, and then I showed my girls the colors of yarn, and they didn't know what I was making, but I just said, hey, out of these 3, which one's your favorite? And well, I asked the older 2. The 3-year-old doesn't care. And so they each picked different ones, which was good. And then I made those. So I'll post a picture of all 3 together. The other 2 I did use bigger glittery eyes, but they're all Parfait Chunky, and they're all, I think I used a 5mm hook, all the same pattern basically, just different colors. So that is their Valentine's gift. I did finish, I don't know if you guys remember me saying that I wanted to try using more of my crochet thread this year, and I the reason why I have so much of it is because beginning in my crochet career, I guess, one of the things I really liked to make was necklaces with like the seed beads and the crochet thread, and you just chain whatever and then add the bead and chain whatever. And so I have a little bit of a stockpile of those that I made for when I did the farmer's market a few years ago. And I haven't made any pretty much since then. So I have this whole shelf full of crochet thread that's sitting there not being used, and a whole drawer full of seed beads not being used. So at the end of January, I decided I'm going to make 1 necklace a month. Obviously, I did not get January's done in January, and I don't have February's done in February, so I only have 1 to show you. But I don't know how easy it'll be to show you. Basically, as I put the beads on the thread, because you do that first before you crochet, I just kind of make it up as I go. So this time, I showed you the beads I was going to use. I had like slightly bigger ones and then littler ones. So I ended up putting it on like 1 and then 5 and then 1 and then 5. So I made kind of a pattern. And then I think I did 5 chains in between each section. And then I just did it as long as I felt like it. So it's pretty long, but this one is made to double over. And you can either just, got tangled up there a little bit. You can either just leave it doubled over like this and even, or you can have like one part a little shorter, one part a little longer. So the length of these usually just depends on how many beads I put on and if I get tired of doing it. So sometimes I'll just do 1 wrap around, sometimes I'll do the 2 like this, other times I'll do like really long and have it be like 3 or 4 times wrapped around. Yeah, so that one's my January one, and I wrapped it around like this, and it could be a bracelet. It's stretchy enough that you can get it on there. I just don't want to stretch it out too much. But yeah, so I've started my February one. I got all the beads on, I just haven't started doing that. So I decided to do something that I probably shouldn't have done, but that's okay. My daughter's elementary school, they decided this year as a fundraiser that they'd put on like a craft fair. So they've never done it before. I'm not sure how it's gonna go. But basically the way it's a fundraiser is like the money that the vendors pay to do it goes to the school. Plus we have to donate, that's the word, donate a item for a raffle type thing. So I was back and forth on it because it's April 6th, so right after Easter and right after spring break for us too. It's like that week after spring break. Well, our spring break goes a few days after Easter, so it's really like a few days after we get back from spring break. So I was back and forth on it because I'm working on the Easter dresses, and I finally decided I would just do it. And so my plan is, like I said, I did a farmer's market a few years ago. It was my first time trying to sell anything. It ended up not working out super well because of kids' schedules and husband's schedules, and I only got to go to 2 out of the whole summer. So I have some stuff from that, like I have necklaces, and I have some like hair clips and random things, chapstick holders, things like that. A few coin purses, so, and some washcloths and scrubbies. Not very many scrubbies because I do sell those occasionally, but things that I'm not really selling locally because I'm not going to any craft fairs since then. So I did decide to sign up, and this will be my first real craft fair since then. But I figured since it's at an elementary school and it's going to be kind of small, like they don't have room for like a million vendors, it'll just be what I have. My plan, sorry, I'm like all over the place. My plan is just to take what I have from the last few years and then make one thing a week to kind of replenish those items. But since a few years ago, I've been making more amigurumis and stuff. I have also, I'm going to add those. Those were not made before. Anyway, long story short, I'm going to show you a few of the things that I've worked on for that. So the first thing was chapstick holders. Now, I have my own way of making these, and they're made with size 3 crochet thread. You can get it at like Joann's or whatever. So, and then I have like 3 different designs that I like to make. So I made 30 total. Chapstick holder thingies. And so I'll show you. Actually, I'm going to put the chapstick in it because some of the designs you can see better once the chapstick's in. Alright, so this first one is just basic single crochets all the way around. You just do it in a spiral. I do start with a little circle and then do back loop only and then just go up. And then I just keep this chapstick on hand because it's the same size as other chapsticks. Like they're all, not all, but like the average size. And then from here I just crochet back and forth a few rows, like 4 stitches back and forth until it's long enough to go around this thing. And so what I was doing, I was making it all of them until that point and just threw them in the jar, and then the end of the week I sewed all these in around these and sewed in the ends. So that's my just basic single crochet one. And then the next one I do is kind of like a V-stitch but with half double crochets so that they're smaller. And this one is one that looks better with the chapstick in it. So it's hard to tell that it's a V-stitch, but that's what it is. And then I did, at the top I did like a row of single crochets because I thought another row of half double or the V-stitch would have been too tall. So I just kind of bordered it off. And then this one, I think it's like the, is it the alpine stitch? I don't know. It's double crochets, and you like alternate whether it's just normal or in the front post, back post, whatever. I think it's front post. I don't know. It's one of those. It's not both. So yeah. And then I just finished this the same way, all single crochets for that part. And stuff's falling everywhere. Yeah, so these are my first project. I'm not gonna obviously leave them in here. It's just what I was using to store them as I was making them. So yeah, I think I had 10 colors, and I made 3 of each color. So each design 3 type, or each design once, but you know what I mean. So the second thing that next week is I made, and this is something I didn't have at my last one. It's popsicle cozies. I don't know what you call them. So people call them different things depending on where you live. So like Otter Pops, like the popsicles with like in the plastic sleeve. So I made basically just like single crochet tube. So I like the ones that are just like a tube, because especially for like my 3-year-old, you could move this up with the popsicle that's as it's going away. You know, you don't want to hold the bottom plasticky part while your popsicle is up here at the top. And then this one I did half double crochets in the back loop. But I also made 2 different sizes. So here's all my skinny ones, because different brands are different sizes. So Otter Pops are skinnier. If you buy like Walmart brand, they're a little bit fatter. And I just use cotton yarn for these. I've made them before with acrylic, and I think they're both fine. But I wanted to try to use up some cotton, smaller cotton scraps is the word. So I just did the regular single crochets and then the half double crochet. This one was like a color changing striped cotton. Yeah, so I think I have like 19. It was kind of a random number. My parents were coming into town for the weekend, and I didn't have time to get a lot more done. So that's just what I got. And then, so the last craft fair thing that I made this last week was frogs. So, 2 of the frog things that I showed throughout the month of February, I decided would be good for the craft fair. So, let me see. These are not officially finished. These still have ends on their butts, and they don't have faces, just their eyeballs. So these are the pop ones that you go boop, boop, boop. I just thought they were super amusing, and so I made 2 of each color, I believe. Let me get organized here for a second. Okay, so 2 of each kind, just to have a variety. So these are the ice yarn baby chenille or whatever. And then I tried to use different eyes. So this one is technically a glitter eye. This one is just normal. But like I said, they need faces, so some will have smiles and little eye details, whatever I decide. Where's that one? Well, these ones are Premier Parfait. I think this is the color Peacock. It's like a teal color. That's definitely not the color they are. That one's another glitter eye with blue. And then that weird eye. And then these are Parfait Chunky from Premier. Hold on. Sometimes their faces get a little squished. In the emerald color. And this one, I accidentally put the eyes on the wrong side as I was making it. So it's so when I did the bobbles on the legs, I kind of had to reverse the pattern because I didn't feel like squishing or trying to like cut the eyes out. So his face might be a little weird because his eyes are far apart, because I was supposed to put the eyes right here, but I accidentally put the first one right there. And I was like, oh no. So we'll see if that one works out or if he gets to stay with me. We'll see. These next two are a little interesting because I took some Lion Brand Ferris wheel and I held two together, and because I thought they'd look a little like toads if I use, and I kind of just wanted to see what it would look like with acrylic, but I know Ferris wheel parts of it are kind of thin, so this one looks a little more like a toad because he's got all that green, the olivey green, but there they are with their heads up and with their heads down. So I thought they were kind of fun. And then I decided to try it with some blanket yarn also. Side note about blanket yarn is people keep talking about how the new blanket yarn is softer, and I was like, okay, like I didn't know how new they're talking about because some of my blanket yarn isn't really that old. But these two different ones that I will show you, I could tell the difference as I was making them. So I made two with this deep sea, I think deep sea color. And I just recently bought this. And this is their size. And then I made two with whatever this color is, seafoam or something. And I've had this for a little while. This one has blue eyes. That one just has regular eyes. But I don't know if you can see a size difference, but this one is definitely feels thicker as you're working it up. Like this one's a little more floppy almost. I used the same hook and this one's a little more stiff. Alright, so the new one is softer for sure. And it's not really even like softer. I just feel like it's hard to explain. I don't know. Yeah, like as you're working it, the yarn has a little more give to it. Maybe fluffier. I don't know. But so I thought that was interesting because I've heard a few people mention that and I wasn't sure what they were talking about. So those are that kind of frog. Then I also made, made the pocket frog, which was an Instagram pattern. This was one of the earlier weeks. So I wanted to make some of these, so some little ones. So again, no faces yet. These are the Parfait Chunky Emerald and the peacock color and the ice yarns. I didn't make these in the blanket yarn or the Ferris wheel. So that is everything. Nope. Okay, that's all my craft fair stuff that's finished. I do have one more finished object to show you. So Jo from Jo's Web made her leggy bunny pattern. And I did send her a picture because I asked if I could test it, and then she sent me the pattern and everything. And it took me a little while to get back to her. But she did show it in her last video. But here's my leggy bunny. So this is Lion Brand Cover Story, but it's like a few years old. I feel like they have new ones, and I don't know if they feel the same or if they're the same thickness. But I made a mermaid tail blanket out of this 2 or 3 years ago for my middle child. So it's just been sitting around. I have like a whole bunch of it, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I thought it would make a cute bunny when I saw her bunny pattern. I'm not sure if I overstuffed his butt area or if he's just supposed to be that chunky. The eyes are her eye tutorial, and I use size 10 crochet thread. None of my safety eyes looked good with it, and my daughter was convinced it needed this type of eye. But I didn't want to do it with just normal thread or normal yarn because I feel like it would be too big for his face. And I tried to play with the pattern to make it more ovally, just to go with the narrower face, and I couldn't. I'm not that smart. So I stuck with the circle, just stuck with her pattern, and I did try to follow her pattern for the nose, and it wasn't that she didn't explain it well, it was that me and the yarn were not getting along. I'm not that good at embroidering faces, and this yarn was so fluffy that I was having a hard time getting underneath the whole stitch, and I was afraid I was just ripping it up, and so I just took one of my safety noses, but I had already finished the face off, so I think I just glued it, and I did just glue these eyes because I wasn't about to sew that on. After trying to sew the nose and it wasn't working, I wasn't about to try to sew those on. So yeah, here he is. He's about 12 inches from here to here. So, and I think that's all my finished objects. So I do have one work in progress to show you. I started last night. So this week, okay, so like I said, I wanted to do like one thing per week leading up to this craft fair. And I was gonna do, for some reason I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do a whole bunch of no-sew amigurumi in 1 week. And then I was making these frogs and I was like, I want to make 1 million frogs. I can't. And that's all I got done in 1 week was the frogs. And I keep finding more and more and more patterns that I want to make, and those seem more fun to make and maybe more able to sell than like making a whole bunch of coin purses or making a whole bunch of scrubbies, which I will still do because I do know some scrubbies will sell. Washcloths, not as much. So we'll see. But so this week I was gonna make bookmarks using the like size 3 thread. I've made bookmarks with that before with like Jada and Stitch's Mile a Minute designs. Just make a little strip and call it good. And I just don't feel like making those. So this week I'm going to continue with the amigurumi stuff. So I saw this pattern by the Friendly Red Fox, and I actually saw, she has 3 like color variations of it, and I wanted to make the flamingo one for sure, but since I was just making it for the first time, I wanted to make it in, so it's the silly goose pattern, so that's the original. It's a goose, and she has color variations to make a flamingo, and like the mallard duck, the one that has a green head and brownish body. So here's my goose so far. I made him last night, and I have the wings and the arm, or the wings and the legs is what they're called. I just don't have them sewn on. So he's supposed to be kind of floppy-ish because he's not supposed to be very stuffed. I don't know, it just says lightly stuffed. I would be interested to see exactly how much stuffing she uses because I don't know what lightly stuffed means exactly. Because I feel like he still got his shape, but he's not, like, if you had like really stuffed it, his butt would be a lot fatter. And she does say you can fully stuff it if you want, it'll just look a lot different. So anyway, his wings are gonna go here, and they'll be just kind of flop. Well, here, there we go. They'll just be like kind of floppy around because this is not a no sew but a low sew. And as I was watching the tutorial part for the arms, wings, you basically just go through the whole body back and forth and tack it on so it kind of can flop around. And then the legs are just like a little, you start with a circle and then you kind of crochet the circle together, like single crochet it, and then you make a chain. So those will go here-ish, and they'll just be flopping. So I did want to at least start it with the goose so that I just got the pattern figured out, make sure I know what I was doing. But I did buy, oh, this is Bernat blanket yarn. This is like a cream color, and this is a mustardy color. I don't remember their names. But I did buy specifically, I bought pink sparkle and black to do the flamingo. So the flamingo, his body and wings are pink, his feet and beak are black, and there's like one little row of white before the beak. So, and then I also just did a Joann's order to buy a brownish color because I had this color that I thought could make a good head for if I make the duck. So I already had this for the beaks. This would be the head. There's a little bit of white on that duck too, and then the body would be brown. So I did do that too, but I just ordered it yesterday, so we'll see when it gets here. But yeah, so this week I want to work on making at least two geese, 2 flamingos, and then I want to make some chickens, like the Mabel chicken pattern that I made. And if I get to it, there's a pattern for a little chick that's like these. He's basically made the same way. And that one's a free pattern. There's no baubles here. It's just like a circle, and then somewhere in there you add a beak, and then his feet are orange, so you have to change color a little bit. She also has a monkey pattern, which will be super cute, but I don't have the right colors for it yet, so that might be coming soon. So for this week, I'm going to really concentrate on those, and then starting next week, I will be working a little bit on the other random craft fair stuff. Like, I think next week is like scrubbies and dishcloths, but I'll be doing some amigurumi too, hopefully. We'll see what I get done. Like I said, my original plan was not to stress about it and just use what I had, but I'm also having fun making these, and I bought a lot of yarn, and I kind of want to get my money back for buying all that yarn by making it into cute stuff. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see what I get done. Hopefully with the frog stuff being done, I don't have to worry about those projects anymore, and I will have a little bit more time to work on other things. So craft fair stuff and Easter dresses, that's what I'm doing the next few weeks. So not sure when I'll be on here next, but stay tuned, and thank you for watching if you watched this long. Sorry it is a little long. Anyway, I will talk to you guys next time. Bye guys. Real quick, I forgot to show you my one acquisition. It's not my one acquisition. Like I said, I bought a whole bunch of yarn lately to make all the amigurumi stuff, and for my birthday my mom got me those glitter eyes that I showed on some of those, and some pom-poms, which I haven't used yet because I'm not making hats right now. But I got my Mary Maxim kit for probably February, maybe March, or maybe January. It is this little bunting thing that I probably won't make, but I do this more for the yarn than the project, honestly. But the yarn is the Karen Cotton Funnel Cakes, and this is the color Calm Skies. Almost reminds me of like a light denim jean blue color. This is the color Lilac, which is purplies with a little bit of this blue in there. This dim blue is kind of in there. So yeah, not sure what I'll make with it at this point, but my daughter, my 10-year-old, really is trying to convince us to let her have her own room. So she's like, you could make that for my room. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to use it for that. Like, it's cute, but it's not like that cute. And this is a different color, obviously. Anyway, sorry to add that in there. Bye guys.